Hi, Nathan from Buyers Club here. Welcome back to another market video. Today we're taking a look through our recent report on Bunbury, which I think is a pretty well-known market now, about 2 hours south of Perth on the west coast, and also Western Australia's second largest city. Price-wise, the market has been really strong here since about 2021, where you can see just how much house prices started to take off. Now recently having crossed the $800,000 mark and even getting very close to exceeding $900,000. So essentially a doubling of house prices in about 5 years, which is really incredible. And it just goes to show that the Perth boom has had some spillover definitely into other parts of WA. And for a regional market as well, this is now quite an impressive price point that it's risen to. And this growth is reflected in the momentum measures as well, of course. This is plotting 3 and 12 monthly rolling averages of monthly growth. You can see how there really had been negligible growth across almost that entire decade from 2010 to 2020 before this rapid ascent in recent years. Looking at these measures, it does seem like the rate of growth has topped out now from its peak. The quarterly average here peaked at just over 2% growth a month, which on an annual basis is well over 20% growth. So it's not surprising that the market wasn't able to sustain that for very long. And we're now trending back down toward the 1% monthly growth level. But despite this cooling in the rate of growth, we should stress that this is still a very hot market, having produced over 15% house price growth in the past year. Here we're looking at the share of total WA property sales that have taken place in Bunbury over time. And over the long run, there's certainly been a bit of an upward drift in market activity in Bunbury compared to the state as a whole. But what's really interesting is this sudden spike in sales volume in late 2025, which has managed to sustain itself above the long-term trend line. This kind of market behavior is highly context dependent in terms of how we should interpret it. In theory, you could see a similar spike in sales volume within a market where prices are falling. So, in that case, you would probably take this to be a sign of panic selling or and maybe an early sign that the market is about to find its bottom and head into more of a stabilization phase. For a market like Bunbury, though, where price momentum is already strong, this is more often a sign of a lift in market confidence and renewed expectations of continued growth. And this lift in market activity seems to be well represented in the inventory level over time as well. So, this is plotting how long it would take to sell off all listings in Bunbury based on current demand levels. And that's expressed in the number of months that that would take. You can see here that there was a definite contraction in inventory in late 2025, which matches up well with that spike in purchasing activity that we saw on the previous slide. Inventory had fallen from just a bit over 1.5 months to about zero point 0.6 months. We take a look at housing supply to a bit more of a medium term indicator, of course. We can see that Bunbury had fallen into a net undersupply of new dwellings relative to new household formation back in 2018-19. And that's continued since, which is certainly putting pressure on prices. Here, of course, in this chart, we're looking at an annual comparison between dwelling supply versus new households entering into the market each year. But having a prolonged undersupply like this over multiple consecutive years can obviously contribute more significantly to price pressure when we see a chronic shortage starting to develop in this way. So certainly a couple of factors that would seem to point to continued price momentum here. But that's a few of the highlights from this report on Bunbury. Let us know your thoughts as well. Do you see this recent growth continuing for some time yet, or does it look more like Bunbury is heading towards a correction to you? Let us know, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.